Welcome to Chatting Shit with Ostique, the podcast series where we chat about shit with inspirational people from all walks of life. Today, we are joined by the wonderful and inspiring Chantelle Leonardo. We hope you enjoy this conversation. Chantelle, welcome to Chatting Shit with Ostique.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. I have so many things that I want to ask you about. Before I do, would you mind just kind of introducing yourself and giving a brief explanation as to how you came to have your stoma?
Okay, my name is Chantelle Leonardo. I'm 42 years old, a wife and a mom of 3. I suffered from a lot of tummy issues since 18, but the doctors just kept telling me it was IBS. You know, it's just an IBS, it's stress. And then it got super bad, I think in my 30, let's say 30. And then I said, I think I need to go for a colonoscopy. So I did. And at that time, he literally came out and he said, okay, yes, you have UC, you have a surgicalitis. And at that time, I had no idea what it was. And I actually was like, yay, they found something. Let's fix it. Because for so many years, it was like nothing was there. So I kind of went into the colonoscopy wanting them to find something that we could cure or that we could, fix.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, now what do we do? And so from then it was just medication after medication. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. It was all trial and error. I was on infusions, I was on oral, I was on injections, like the whole 9. And then I ended up getting really bad, literally when I was 41. And I got a C. diff. So I got C. diff on top of the colitis, and I was having a flare up at the same time. And I just got back from a vacation with my family, and it was really bad. And I went to the hospital because I'm like, something else is going on. Like, I know I'm flaring, but there's something else. And then they checked and they said, yep, you got C. diff. Your inflammation is like super bad. We need to do the surgery now. And I was there 3 days and I had to have the surgery. And literally that was just that quick. Like, I knew the surgery would be in my future. I just didn't think it was going to happen that quick, where I didn't have much time to like process it. And yeah, I think that's why we'll talk about this later, but my husband did a song for me, because in that moment when I was laying in the hospital bed and I looked at him and I said, I'm so scared. He said, babe, you're going into for a major surgery. Of course you're scared. I would be scared too. And I said to him, I'm scared that you're not going to love me anymore. Like the way that I'm going to look and like the changes in my body. And am I going to look sexy to you? Am I going to feel sexy for myself? And he was like, I don't want that to be a thought. You'll always be the sexiest person in the room to me. Don't like health first. Let's do this. Having that support was huge. My kids, same thing. Mom, you're going to get better. You're going to have a better quality of life, which I did not have. Like, I backtracked. I went so far ahead, but I couldn't walk around the block with my kids. It was that bad. I was using the washroom 20 times a day. So it got so bad that it really affected my kids as well. I couldn't, take them to school trips. I couldn't go to an amusement park without stressing about how I was going to feel or where's the bathroom. And anyone that knows they have Crohn's or colitis, they know that it's literally in your mind 24/7.
Yeah.
It literally ran my day. And people were like, just stop thinking about it. Like, if you got to go to the washroom, I'm like, but it's not just washroom. Like, it's not just that. Like, there's so much that goes with, it's not just a shitting disease, like there's so much. I was always very tired. I had no energy, mind fog, pains, like major pains. And when I was using the washroom, like, again, this is probably too TMI, but this is what we're here for. It was never like I was just pooing. It was blood. It was just blood. And so it was scary. And and the minute the doctor mentioned to me, like, the word cancer to me, he said, if you keep this going and you don't do it, this is what your future could be, right? And that's scary to hear at such a young age. And I have so much time that I want to be with my kids, and that really affected me. So Yeah.
I'm not surprised. That is so much to deal with. And so many people who've been on this podcast have had the same thing. Like they look in the toilet, they see this blood and they are terrified. And
Yeah.
actually, we've had a lot of people who don't even go to the doctor for ages after seeing that blood because they don't want to know
You
what
don't
it
want to
is.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
it's terrifying to live with that, plus the fatigue, plus the pain, plus the always needing to know where the toilet is. So
Yeah.
it was a lot.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the kind of transition back into life after your surgery, I
Mm.
just wondered, you mentioned that kind of between the ages of 30 and 41, things got really bad. And
Hmm.
you've got 3 kids. Were you pregnant during that time at all? Like, did that
Yes.
impact your fertility or anything?
Didn't impact me, but when I was pregnant, I was good. So
Oh,
it was like, yeah, when that 9, 10 months, I had no flare ups. I didn't even think about the washroom. It was bizarre. Like, it
wow.
was, I don't know if my body was just doing other things that were more important, but it was just, I did not feel sick. And it was like, and I remember one of the doctors telling me that can happen with colitis. When you get pregnant, the symptoms just go away. I should have had 20 kids. I should have just
Yeah.
kept having kids.
Just keep it.
Um, but yeah, so it would be on and off. Like I would flare and then I would. But I think what happened was I got so bad that even when I wasn't bad, I was still mentally bad.
Yeah.
And so even if I was having like a good few weeks where I wasn't feeling tired or I wasn't having pains or I wasn't going to the washroom, the second I had to do something out of my comfort zone or something out of my routine, I would make myself almost sick because I would stress so much about my disease that I would end up being sick. And it was a very hard thing to do because it was hard to explain to people because I didn't have anyone in my circle that really understood. Did I have people to support me and to be there 100%? But to really understand what I was going through, not really. And so I would say that to people like, I know if I go to that party, I'm going to be sick. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, trust me. I know the way my mind works. The minute I get there and I don't see there's a washroom close, or if the parking isn't something that I'm familiar with, if I got to go underground, like all these fucking things in my head
Yeah.
would play a huge part in my life. And so that was the struggle because I would lie a lot of the time to people and I would just say, "Oh, I can't come because of whatever." And then finally, when I came to the idea in my head to say, I need to just start telling the truth. Like, I am not coming to your party because I have this and I don't want to use your washroom. Let's just be honest, right? And so the second I started doing that, the better I started feeling almost because it was mental. And it's so hard to explain how strong your mind is. And I think even though I could have had better days, my mind still was not there. My
Yeah.
mind was not there. Um, so yeah, I started getting worse and worse, and then the meds weren't working for me. So I was on prednisone, and also on my last injection, which was Stelara. So I was doing both, and I was still flaring. And then they gave me a double dose of my Stelara, plus a double dose of my prednisone, and I was still flaring. So they're like, okay, it's obviously your body's telling you that there's not many more options. And because I did so many within those
Mm.
years of medications, there wasn't many more. Like there were definitely a few, and my specialist said we can try a few more if you really want to go that route. We can try a few more. And I was just like, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm so exhausted with trying, and then some made me worse. And so as much as the surgery was scary, a part of me I was excited. A part of me I was excited because I was like, okay, I knew this was going to be my future. Maybe it happened a few years before I thought, but you know what? I can do this. I'm strong. I could do this, and it's going to be amazing afterwards. And so now I'm here.
I
Yeah.
feel like for a lot of people, surgery is so scary and they put it off for so long. And then actually, what ends up happening is people say that was the kind of first actual symbol of hope. Even if you didn't realize it before the surgery,
Yeah.
it enabled you to do things afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So, what mentally and physically, what was your recovery like and kind of transition into life with a stoma?
So mentally, it was all about more and I, to be honest, didn't think I could handle it. I thought, I'm not going to be able to change this on my own. Who am I? Like, yes, my husband said he would do it, but like, I don't want to rely on someone. Like, I just felt like I wasn't going to be able to, I was going to be grossed out. I really thought I was going to be grossed out, to be honest. Um, and then my mental, obviously, I was just kept thinking, like, am I going to be able to look at myself? Am I going to be able to like love myself? Am I going to be able to literally be intimate with my husband? Like all these things in my mind. But what I think, it's so crazy, but because I had an emergency surgery, I didn't have time for my body to get off of all my meds. So in the hospital, I was okay. But then I got home and I went through drug withdrawals and I was so sick. For 4 days, I couldn't eat. I couldn't even drink water. I had the shakes. I had cold and hot sweats. I literally was like, basically like someone that's been doing drugs for years, and I was basically getting off the drugs. And so I called my specialist and she said, that's exactly what's happening. You were on so much and you had no time to wean off of your meds. So you're going to be going through hell for about 4 or 5 days. And that's what happened. I lost so much weight in those 5 days because I couldn't even drink water. My mother would leave me a cracker on the side of the bed and it would take me the entire day to eat one cracker because I would just throw up all day long, sleep all day. It was awful. So because I was so sick that way, the second I felt like, oh, I have energy, I can get up. I wanted a cheeseburger. Like I wanted a freaking cheeseburger. The stoma almost came like, this is nothing. Like what I just went through, this is friggin' nothing. And I obviously had a bit of a hard time changing. The first time I had the nurse come over, I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do this. But then the second time she came in, she was like, oh my gosh, you're a pro. Like, this is your second change. I'm like, I got this. Like, I am a bad bitch. I got this. I could do this. And I think because I went through so much before, it made the transition of the stoma easier. As much as it's still hard, I have still hard days. I still have down days. I still have changes that are not successful. And I'm like, what did I do? Or because it's going to be a year. It's going to be a year this month, the 27th of September. So it's still pretty new. And so I'm still figuring out, even like foods that I eat, what affects me, what doesn't affect me. I'm still getting used to all of that. So even going out, I always have like an emergency little bag, which I think I'll carry for the rest of my life. But it's just little things, right? Like to be honest, I think I transitioned pretty friggin' well considering what my body went through and what it is. The surgery is serious. Having a stoma is no joke. And it's a big change. It's a big change in your life because usually surgery, you go in, you come out, and you're still the same person. With this surgery, you go in, you come out, you're never the same. Like, you're never the same. And I do have the option to do the reversal or try the reversal if I wanted to. But because of my condition, my colitis, the inflammation is right at the bottom and the inflammation is so bad there. So my doctor said, and because of all the trauma that my rectum went through, my muscles are very weak. So they don't even think it would be a successful J pouch because my body wouldn't be able to hold it, basically. Yeah. So I'm like, do I really want to go through all of that just to be sick again, just to have to go back? So I'm going to just do the final surgery and get the entire thing closed up, and then my bag will be permanent, which that my mind is just like, I've kind of been there for a while. Do I think like 20 years from now when I'm old and I'm like, oh, am I going to be able to do this? And my husband always says to me, don't worry, we got this. Like, whatever, we got this. And I think just having that support has made it so much easier for me. Because I know a girl that had it and her husband left her. Her husband, like, legit left her. He said it was too much. It was too much. It's like, dude, if it's too much for you.
Yeah.
For you. Like, are you kidding? Right? And I know it happens. I know, and I'm not saying that it's not hard for my husband, because it is. Like, I'm sure it's hard for him too, and I'm sure he struggles with some things too, but I think if if the love is that strong, at that point, it's just you want your person to be better, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't do a lot of things with him. You know, he is a celebrity, and so he would get all these award shows and dinners, and I could never go. And he's like, I don't want to go solo. I want to bring you, but I would
Yeah.
have to say no because I didn't feel comfortable. So now we're doing all the things. Now I'm going to restaurants and I'm eating and I'm
Nice.
going to parties and I'm taking my kids to wherever. I'm carpooling. I would never carpool because I would be
No, of
afraid to
course.
have people in my car.
Yeah.
So, all these things that it's like, I know this is cliche because I've heard a lot of people say this. I wish I did it sooner.
Yeah.
I wish I did it sooner because I missed a lot of things because of this friggin' sickness, you know?
Yeah.
But I've built a little community on my page now, just being so open about my journey that I'm being that person for people, and that's huge. I think it's so rewarding. Um, I've asked to be in a fashion show this month that all the models have ostomies, and we're doing this huge fashion show for Clayus and Crohn's community. So I'm excited
Mm.
about that. Yeah, I just think there's so much positive now that I can look forward to that as much as it sucks to carry a bag every day, all day for the rest of my life, it really does weigh. Like the positive and the negative. It's so positive for me. Um, and I don't know. I know everyone's story is different, but
Mm.
that's my story. And I know it's not easy. And I know my mom has said this to me a few times. She said, "You're such a warrior that you've made it look so easy that people forget." Like people look at you and they forget you have this. But
Yeah.
when you really think about what you've gone through friggin' a lot. And because I've made it look so graceful that it's like people forget the struggle that I went through.
Mm.
And I don't want to pretend that I didn't struggle because I did. A lot of days, a lot of nights in the washroom crying by myself. But you know what? You bounce back. If you bounce back, you got to think of the positive. It could always be worse. That's my mindset. It could always be worse. And I had my kids to push me. And I think a lot of people that have messaged me, they're alone and they don't have kids, they don't have a husband, and I think that's harder, right? You don't have that push to get better for someone. You
Yeah.
should get better for yourself, right? But
Yeah.
having those little voices in the back of your head saying, "Mom, can I?" It gives you that push, and I think I needed that too. Um, and they see how happy I am. They comment all the time. Um, I always say this story because it's such a small little thing, but for me, it's a big thing. The kids wanted a pizza. I would get them pizza, and I always went home to eat. I never ate out because I was nervous. I wouldn't eat in the car. So it was one day, me and my son, we went to the mall shopping, and he's like, "Mom, can we get a pizza?" I said, "Yeah, let's get a personal size pizza for the both of us to share." And we got back in the car, and I literally crossed my legs. I put music on. We sat there and we ate pizza. Like we
Oh,
just ate pizza and we just talked. And he said, "Isn't this so good, Mom?" Right? Like
oh,
so silly. Like so silly. I always get emotional.
it's not silly. That's an amazing moment to be able to share.
Yeah. And for my kids to see those small things, just people take for granted.
Yeah.
People take those small things for granted. And since surgery, I've been able to do them. And it's huge. It's huge to eat pizza in the car. It's huge to be able to take my teenager to the movies with his friends all in the back seat. I would have never done that before.
Yeah.
So, yes, surgery's hard. My journey's been tough, but I'm in a good place. I'm in a very good place now. So, yeah.
I'm so happy for you. As you can see, I'm also crying. I'm so happy for you that it's been so freeing and allowed you to live. I wanted to ask you about body image and your relationship with your body. And I wonder, A, what it was like before surgery, because I mean,
Mhm.
you were poorly. I don't know if that impacted your relationship with your body. And then once you had your stoma, did you feel any kind of that you needed to kind of get to know yourself? Because I guess your
Mhm.
body looked and felt different. It sounds like your husband was just the most amazing support, so that probably helped
Yeah.
massively. Yeah. Your own kind of personal
Yeah.
journey with that.
My personal journey, again, I think all of us are hard on ourselves with our bodies to begin with. Um, I was a professional dancer my whole life, so I think my body was always looked at. My body was always looked at. It was auditions where you look at your talent, but you also look at your body. Back then, it was obviously harder than it is now. So I always had a little bit of like oh, I could be fitter. Oh, I could be thinner. Oh, I could, like my whole life. I think after having kids and more so a daughter, because she's my youngest, I had to really be aware of what I was saying to myself because she can see and she can hear. And with social media now, obviously it's all in your face, that you have to look this way or this way. Anyway, so yes, I struggled with my body pretty much my whole life. Um, Even at my thinnest, even at my most fit, I would be like, oh, I can't show my stomach for this audition. Then I look back and I'm like, why the hell did I think that? Like, I look damn good. Like, but back then, like, when you're in the moment, you don't think you do.
Never.
So that's my mindset now because I'm like, in 10 years from now, I'm going to think I look like the bomb right now. So I do. Right now, I need to look in the mirror and be like, I look damn good. So that's kind of my mindset. Um, and then after surgery, obviously, it's the dress. I think more it was the dressing. Like, what can I wear that will still make me feel good and cute? But with this whole thing, like how, so I think that was like more like, am I going to like how I look? Even just with clothes on. Like it's weird to think, but that's what I thought. Um, Looking at myself like in front of the mirror with no clothes, that was tough for a while. And I wouldn't do it. And then finally one day I said, I'm going to just take a picture and I'm going to show my bag. And I know it's different like this or like in person. Like in person, it's a little different than just taking a picture on social, right? So
Yeah.
I did that first to kind of break the ice. And I did a picture and I'm like, this is me, whatever. And I got a lot of love and I got that like support from people, but I still didn't feel good. I still didn't feel good. And then I had some girl message me. She's a photographer. And she said to me, why don't we do like those boudoir kind of photo shoot?
Yes.
And you can like show your bag if you want. Don't show your bag. Just do you and feel sexy and good. And I said, you know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I need to do this for me. I need to feel sexy. I need to just whatever. And I did it. And it was so empowering that I got to, even just in front of her, just show my all. And then she said to me, I think you should post. I think you should post one. Um, my husband said the same thing. Post it. I think you posting it will help others. So, anyways, I did. I posted it, and you saw my whole, like, obviously I'm not nude, but you saw my body, you saw my bag, and the amount of people that messaged me thanking me for being real. I had mothers message me that their daughters have this, that their sons have this, husbands, grandmothers, parent, like the amount of love that I got just thanking me, simply thank you for being you, thank you for being real, you know, pushed me more and more. And I started loving myself more and more. Obviously, being intimate with my husband was super hard the first time. I had to go to the store. Don't ask me why, to buy something black to like put over my bag. Why? Like it's gonna move. Like it's gonna move. But in my mind, I'm like, if I have it covered, it just will feel better.
Yeah.
And he laughed at me. He said, "Babe, come on, this is silly." And I'm like, "No, but I know you're okay with it. I'm not. Like I'm
Yeah.
not ready. I'm not ready." So like little things, and then that that black band was then just like a tank top, and the tank top was like, okay, then screw it, like this is me. I gotta feel comfortable in my body because it's mine. This is what I have. So definitely a roller coaster.
Yeah.
um but yeah, but it's good, and I think having this platform has just helped me more. Getting the love back from people has been awesome.
Tell me about your husband's song.
Okay.
Love this.
So his name is Sean Desmond. He's a recording artist. He had multiple hits back in the day, and then he took a big long break, and he got back into it this past year. And after his first single released is when I got really sick. And he said, after I told him that whole story, like, I'm scared to have the surgery because of what you're going to think of me. It really sparked something in his head. And he said, I need to write a song for my wife, but also just for people in general to like love your imperfections, like what your imperfections make you who you are, love them anyway. So he wrote a song. It's called Love Me with the Lights On. And it's a very like, it's not a soft, cryy song at all. It's a very like upbeat 80s vibe, good
Nice.
song, but the whole idea is Love Me with the Lights On. I don't know if you know Nick's underwear line. They also collaborated with him. So we're modeling is the Nick's like lingerie and underwears and all the things for the
Amazing.
video. And he asked a bunch of different influencers. So I don't know if you know Sarah Bird's Papaya. She's in it. There's a few Cat and Nat. And then he also had people kind of submit submissions in about their story. And he picked 10 women. There's some that are breast cancer survivors. There's one that she has cancer and her son also has cancer. There's one diabetic. There's one like they're just different stories. And so the video is that we're all there. Some of us share our stories at the beginning of the video. It's a beautiful, beautiful message. Since that video released, the amount of craziness that's happening for my husband and I has been outrageous. And so he's been on all kinds of platforms kind of talking about it and sharing my story. So him sharing my story as well has really blown this whole thing up, which I'm so grateful for, because I think having that space to talk to people is truly something I wish I had. And that's why I think what you're doing is incredible, because there's not enough of it. And now being that person that they can reach out to. I've had people message me and be like, hey, can you show me what you use? Because I use this and it's not working. And just like simple things that we just need to talk. Or if someone's having a bad day and they want to just vent to me or cry to me, I get it. I don't think they're a crazy person because I've been there, you know? So yeah, that's the song. It's incredible.
Wow.
I'll send you the link to it when we get off so you can have a look.
Please do, because we can put it in the show notes as well, so everyone can access it. And I would just personally love to see it. So yes, please do send me the link.
It's so good. It's
Your
not because
husband sounds incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. So
firstly, I really agree with you. I meant to say that the support, like one-to-one support from your peers, is invaluable. Like speaking to a stoma nurse is great, and your consultant will always help you, but somebody who understands exactly what you've been through is so important. And I think it's amazing that people can reach out to you, and even though you don't know them, you want to speak to them and help them and reply. And I'm sure that has really transformed a lot of people's lives.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I had one girl message me this week and she said, you don't know me, I just follow you. My cousin just had the surgery and she is struggling. She doesn't know who to talk to. And she's like, and I know you because of your story. She's like, please, this is her handle. If you could just say hi to her, whatever. So of course I did that. And I wrote her a message, and then she was asking me all these questions. And I said to her, why don't you just call me? And she said, call you? And I said, yes, call me. I would rather talk so you can hear my voice than me just type. So she called me that evening. She's like, how do I feel like I've known you my whole life? Because we were connecting on such a different level. And she got really emotional with me. And she said, you have no idea what you're doing for me. You have changed my life just because I have some hope. I've been super down. My husband's supportive, but I still feel down. I did it. And she kept going, and she just kept thanking me. And I'm like, it's crazy the impact of just a phone call you can make on someone. And then sure enough, her cousin messaged me right away and she said, thank you so much for reaching out. You have no idea what you've done for her. She's already talking in a different tone. Like, you've given her so much hope, because I kept telling her, you're going to have bad days, babe. I'm not going to lie to you. But the outcome is so much better than how you're feeling right now. Just believe that within time, everyone has their time. You're gonna feel like $1,000,000. And she kept saying, "Are you?" I'm like, "I'm telling you, you will. You'll get there, but you need to get there on your own pace, right?" And I'm here to help if you have a day that you want to talk or whatever. So yeah, it's just so incredible. It's so incredible, the community, because I know social media could be so bad and negative sometimes,
Yeah.
but being able to turn my whole page into this positive place people can come to has just been amazing.
It's amazing for you, and I think it's definitely amazing for everybody who gets to come to the page. I can't believe you had a phone call with that girl. I can't imagine how much that helped her.
Yeah.
I know we are running out of time, but I just wanted to ask you about work or passions or hobbies, the things that kind of fill your life and make you happy. Were
Mm-hmm.
they impacted by either your ulcerative colitis before or having your stoma surgery now? Like, did it impact other parts of your life as well?
Oh yes. I um I owned a dance studio for 18 years. So I taught dance, I did all the things. If I was in my studio, it was my comfort. I could do it. I had a washroom right there. All my students knew, so I was comfortable. But I would get offers to teach at other places, to travel, to do all these things, and I would never say yes. Never say yes, because I just didn't want to put myself into that stress.
Yeah.
So since surgery, we closed our studio after COVID. We had to close our doors. Bittersweet, but it's opened so many more doors for me. And I've been asked to teach at a bunch of studios, to choreograph at different shows, to just put myself out there. And I've been saying yes to everything because I can. And I've been traveling with my daughter, because she's also a dancer, to do things. And that is massive for me, because I would have never said yes um, to any of these things in the last few years, because I was so bad. And that's why I keep thinking, like, for this, because I was going to have my surgery this September to do my final surgery.
Yeah.
And I spoke to my surgeon, and she said, there's no rush for you to do the final surgery, because you're still within that 10 years. Like, you have some time. So I said, okay, you know what? If you're giving me the okay to not do this final surgery right now, this year I am going to do as much travel, as much dancing, as much as I can, because I can.
Yeah.
And then I will book the surgery for the following fall. So yeah, that's my calendar's and now I'm teaching at schools. I'm teaching like dance lunch programs at schools. I just want to be out there. I want to dance. That's my passion. Dancing, teaching, being on stage is my passion. And I get to do that with a bag. I get to do that, and I don't hide it from anyone. Everyone knows I'm very open about it. And I think that helps too. Because I know a lot of people are embarrassed of it, which I get too. I get that. And you know what? If it needs to be something that you just carry, and you don't have to share it with the world. You don't have to. If that's what you choose, and if that makes you feel more, comfortable in your own skin, that's cool too. I would prefer to just say who I am, not hide it. Doesn't define me. And you know what? If you think it's gross, cool. Like, if you think it's
Yeah.
gross, move on.
No problem. Yeah.
Right. Everyone craps. I just crap from a different place. So,
Yeah.
let's just get real. And for my daughter that's 8, if she can look at me and say, Mom, that's not gross. She literally said to me, Mom, you're just pooing from a different place. I've seen you poo before. So that was her mindset, which I was like a little bit iffy what she was going to think. And she wanted to look at it. She wants to help me change it. And I was like, it's unbelievable. And she loves to share my story with people, because she thinks it's like something that's like, it's cool almost, right? Like, and that's kind of what I was afraid of, was what my kids' reaction was going to be. And then seeing my youngest daughter, like how she reacted, I'm like, if an 8-year-old can look at this and not be, right? Like, come on, like, we need to teach these kids at an early age that everyone's different.
100%.
And she loves to be a part of it. She even says to me when we're at a restaurant, and she looks at me, she's like, Mom, you okay? And I said, babe, I'm good. And she's like, do you need to go change? And then she'll say to me, Mom,
So
maybe you need to
invested.
go. Yeah, maybe you need. And she'll come with me, and she'll say, you don't have to tell the boys because they never come into the bathroom with you anyway. It's just me and you. So like she wants to be there to help me. And I allow that. I want that. And so I always say, like, if my 8-year-old can be that accepting of the new me and the whatever, then, and if my core people are still a part of my life, that's what's important. And everyone else, I hope you guys still want to be a part of my life. But if you don't because of that, then you never worth it, you know, to even try to keep that going. So yeah, it's been good. It's been really, really good.
Oh, Chantelle, I've absolutely loved this conversation. Thank you so much for coming on. You are such a ray of sunshine and happiness and positivity. And it's so amazing to hear, how incredibly supportive your husband and children have been, and rightly so, but how it's made you want to give back to the community as well. And that's so special. So yeah, thank you for everything you're doing for the community and for being on.
Thank you for having me. I think what you're doing is amazing. And I think any way that we can share our story and not make it so dark and not make it so negative, I think is important. So thank you so much for this. Thank you for having me. And yeah.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Have you seen the new Ostique skins yet? Ostique skins are revolutionary ostomy pouch covers that were created to make the wearer feel confident, sexy and powerful in all of life's moments. From moments of intimacy to lounging by the pool, conquering a workout or simply heading out to lunch, skins have you covered. Even better, they're compatible with all major colostomy and ileostomy bags. Ostique skins are available in a range of colours and skin tones, and they're made from a revolutionary material that's completely waterproof, high quality, soft and comfortable. Skins are easy to use, even with reduced dexterity, and they work with both closed and drainable bags. Plus, skins are also environmentally friendly and vegan. There are 4 bundles available to buy now, and you can also purchase individual skins. Head to ostique.co.uk to find out more.